after having said this, this is actually my favorite phrase in the entire ayah. وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. This is my favorite phrase of the entire ayah. It's so cool. First of all, I told you when he said لَهُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, he owns whatever's in the skies and the earth, what was inside the skies and the earth. Now he's establishing his ownership of what is on the outside. And in doing so, he uses the word kursi, which can literally be translated chair, but we don't really know what that Allah means by that. I'll give you some linguistics in a second. But the first thing I want you to know is the first time Allah spoke about the skies and the earth, He talked about ownership. Lahu ma fis samawati, He owns whatever's in the skies and the earth. Ownership. Now He's talking about authority. His throne extends. His seat extends over the skies and the earth. So this is actually something else. Ownership versus kingdom. An owner owns small things. A king owns big things. An owner, you can own a pen. You can own a car. You can't own a country. You can be the king over a country. You understand? So if you want to put this in literary perspective, there's micro and macro. Micro means small things. Macro is bigger picture. And when someone's a king, let's say they're a king over an island, can they keep track of every transaction, every meal, every conversation? Because that's micro. And a king can only handle what? Macro, big picture. What about an owner? An owner can take care of the little things, but they can never take care of what? Big things. Which one is Allah? Allah in the beginning is owner, which suggests that He takes care of what things? The smallest of things. But does that mean He doesn't control the whole thing? وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. As you will see, the entire expansive universe that seems so infinite and so overwhelming to scientists today. I watch documentaries on the universe. Man, these people talk about the universe like they're talking about God Himself. It's so amazing. I'm so in awe of it. It just keeps going. It's so expansive. It makes me feel so humble and so little, etc., etc. Like they literally have spiritual moments when they talk about the universe and how big, how huge the universe is. Now put this in perspective. Wasi'a. Translated, it withheld. His throne withheld the skies and the earth. Not withholds, but withheld. It's the past tense, not the present tense. Makes a huge difference. I walk into this hall and I say, this holds 300 people. Present tense. This holds 300 people. Does that actually mean there were 300 people in here? Think about it. Somebody shows you a hall and says this holds 400 people. Does that mean there were ever 400 people in there? No. It means it can do it. We don't know if it's ever been used. The present tense opens up the possibility, but doesn't prove that it actually what? Happened. If the present tense was used, Allah would be saying, this kursi of His can hold the skies and the earth, but we're not sure if it does. No, it's already held it. If you walk into a hall and say, this hall held 400 people, then what are you saying? It actually happened. That's the first thing about the past tense. This is actually a case in point. It's a fact. The second, very important. When you say this hall holds 300 people, that means maximum capacity is what? 300. Because if it could hold more, you would have said it holds 400, 500, 600. You said it holds 300, it means it can't hold 301. That's 300. If I walked into a hall and said, you know, this hall held 300 people. Held 300 people. Is there room for more? Yeah. When you use the past tense, you didn't use maximum capacity. Allah contains the skies and the earth under His kursi and much more. Room for much more. It didn't exhaust maximum capacity. Let's look at the word kursi. في اللغة من الكرس. It actually comes from the word kirs. وهو التجميع. It actually means to bring things together. ومنه الكراسة وهي عدة أوراق مجمعة. أو أوراق مجمعة. It's actually kirasa, which is a pile of papers bunched together. وكلمة كرسي استعملت في اللغة بمعنى الأساس الذي يبنى عليه الشيء. The word kursi in Old Arabic was used for the foundation on which something else is built. And so, فمادة الكرسي الكاف والراء والسين تدل على التجميع وتدل على الأساس الذي تثبت عليه الأشياء. It's actually the foundation on which things are put together. Isna' li hadha al-jidar kursiyan. Build a kursi for this wall means build a foundation for this wall. Put a foundation down for this wall. Wasi'a kursiyu, the point that all of this poetry and everything else is getting at is kursi is something everything else depends on. The foundation is what the building depends on. His kursi is what this entire universe depends on. And that dependency extends. Like the dependency of the skies and the earth is entirely covered on the kursi. They can rely on the throne of Allah, the kursi of Allah. Now, there are 2 degrees. The English language is kind of limited. You can say kursi is throne, chair, but our foundation. But there are 2 things. There's kursi and there's arsh. There's the kursi of Allah and there's the arsh of Allah. The arsh is much bigger than the kursi. The arsh is separate from the kursi, it's much bigger. And so I wanted to share with you. سألت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الكرسي. Rasulullah was asked about the kursi. Abu Dhar Ghafari asked him, can you tell me about al-kursi? Allah says it can withhold the skies and the earth. How does it do that? Can you give me some perspective? يا أبا ذر ما السماوات السبع والأرضون السبع عند الكرسي إلا كحلقة ملقاة بأرض فلا. The kursi, if you were to compare it to the entire skies and the earth, would be like a ring thrown in the desert. The kursi of Allah would be the desert, and the entire universe would be what? The ring. Remember what I told you about scientists in awe of how big the universe is? The universe to Allah, the sky, and by the way, the universe that they're in awe of is one sky. How many skies are there? 7 skies and the earth combined is this ring compared to the kursi. And the kursi of Allah, then he says, Rasulullah is not done. وَإِنَّ فَضْلَ الْعَرْشِ عَلَى الْكُرْسِي كَفَضْلِ الْفُلَاةِ عَلَى تِلْكَ الْحَلْقَةِ. And the kursi of Allah, compared to the arsh of Allah, is that same ring in the desert again. The kursi of Allah is nothing compared to the arsh of Allah. The universe is nothing compared to the kursi. The kursi is nothing compared to the arsh. And none of this is anything compared to Allah. That's how insignificant the universe is to Allah. And within that universe, how insignificant is the earth. Not even compared to the 7 skies, just to the first. And on that earth is you and me. And within that you and me, how insignificant is one cell in my body. Remember Allah said He owns everything and He takes care of everything? The smaller something is, you own something that is, compared to you, a ring in the desert. Right? How easy is it to take care of? Would you even care to take care of it? To zoom in and check on every little detail? How much does Allah go out of His way to take care of you and me? What is around Him? What He takes care of? وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا. And when you put this in perspective, what is His governance over? What is His governance over? And when you put that in perspective, then you realize how much is He taking care of. And He's not just taking care of it. Because just because you're taking care of something doesn't mean you're protecting it. A gardener can take care of the garden, but he can't what? Protect the garden. A cleaner can take care of a house, but can't protect the house. Allah is taking care of us, but He's also what? Protecting us. He says, وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا يعني لا يصعب عليه. It doesn't exhaust Him. بَلَغَ مِنْهُ الْمَجْهُودُ وَالْمَشَقَّةِ. It doesn't overrun Him. Guarding both of them, the skies and the earth. Taking care of the skies and the earth doesn't take anything from Him because it's so insignificant to Him. Now that you've put it in some size perspective, it is a ring to the chair is a ring to the arsh, and that is nothing to what? Allah. How far above He is from us. And yet He protects us. What a great way to end this feeling. وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. He is the ultimately high. You get an idea? You realize how absolutely insignificant you are. And through that you realize how great Allah is. Throughout this ayah, the lesson to be shared, the thing to remember in this ayah is actually the more humanity, myself, you, the more we realize our insignificance, our inadequacy, that's the more you will come closer to Allah. The more absorbed in ourselves we are, the further we become from Allah. The way to get close to Allah is to actually find humility before God. Just be humbled by how awesome He is, how incredible He is.